2, 1. Hey everybody, I am Omega. Welcome back to the Day Night Show matches. Casting with Mr. Zero, as always, Mr. Zero Lambda. And this is Montasaurus vs. Probe, a TVT, roughly diamond level players. Looking forward to this one.
Forward to it, definitely. Diamond level is always welcome. I do like diamond stuff. And yeah, TVT is going to be nuts. They're going to have to position their tanks just right. All that good stuff. Liberators, I don't know. It's not going to be very good with Marines running around, so it should be more interesting.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of it comes down to like bioplay with tank and medevac micro, and whoever is really the best at that tends to dominate. So much so that like mech kind of doesn't exist in TVT. They're part of the reason they were considering that change to the tank micro that would cause them to unsiege when they pick it up is actually just to reintroduce mech back to this matchup. I hope they can find a way to do that without doing that, because it is cool. It's a unique thing that you don't see in the previous two versions of StarCraft 2, but still, I can understand it if they can't find a solution, really. That said, we don't live in that world yet, so time to watch some flying tanks versus flying tanks.
Flying tanks versus flying tanks it is.
For those of you that are curious, for our previous match, Loopy Lou did in fact answer his favorite color as yellow, and Moose, well, I guess he was just upset about the game he lost, so he said the color that isn't Mutus. So a lot of the spectrum, but mostly not brown. Basically,
mostly, yeah, it's got a lot of purple in there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, at the same time, Montasaurus and Probe didn't give me an answer, so I have no idea. I'm just going to assume that Probe's favorite color is orange because that's what he picked, and Montasaurus' favorite color is blue.
There you go. Sounds good. Orange versus blue.
Or they went flying off the bridge and didn't get to answer the question. I don't know.
Flying off the bridge.
Yellow!
Hello!
But anyway, Monty Python references aside, we should go ahead and get started.
Alright, first game is on Montasaurus' TVT. Like you said, diamond levels should be pretty good.
Yeah, Probe's been up to diamond before. Montasaurus is still there. So this is... these guys are pretty good. They're in the top 20% of the players, roughly. And that is a hell of a logo. Anyway, in the bottom right part of the map here on Prime Terraces, we have our blue Terran player. It is Montasaurus. As you can see, he has this, like, fancy thing icon.
Best clan name ever. Yeah.
The My Little Pony and the wings. That's just really well designed. I bet you they commissioned somebody for that. Anyway, your turn.
So the top left corner of the map is also a Terran player. It's Vic Boy's Probe.
Oh wait, they're answering it. It's a favorite color. Oh, is they gonna actually do it? I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
Oh, okay.
The IDFK.
I doubt for knowledge.
I doubt for knowledge.
My favorite color is orange. There you go. Wasn't wrong in my assumption. Yes.
Montasaurus, come on, man. There we go.
Oh, he says green. Okay.
I like green. Dark green.
Dark green. So you can only get that in custom games and arcade. Blue green.
Oh.
Ish.
Ew. That's pretty good.
Anyway, interesting starting game banter aside, we have an early gas here from Probe, picking up a barracks. Probably when you see him follow that up with would imagine a quick factory? Yeah, there it is. Excellent. Meanwhile, his opponent is doing, well, the same thing.
Oh boy.
Oh, yay.
They're going to cyclone each other to death. They're going to drive around in a circle and shoot endlessly until one of them dies.
I guess it does seem like a good opening maneuver. Montasaurus doing the move the Marine to the outer edge to watch for the Reaper that might try to bounce his way up here. Probe so far focusing on his build. He's getting a command center now. So this is where they've deviated. Probe is setting up to be able to go down the expansion, economic-oriented path. Meanwhile, his opponent is sticking to more production for now, growing up to a starport.
Starport. We're going to see a tech lab. Get some Banshee play in here. It sounds pretty cool. We got a tech lab coming down on the factory, so totally possible. Up tanks, and find out what that starport's going to Moment. Almost complete for probe.
And here comes the scout. Reaper's going to come up to the front here, finds himself blocked, throws down a grenade to damage the Marines and make them otherwise not able to pursue him immediately. Moving around the outside here now, he's going to move to the step ladder entrance. Is he going to actually go for it, or just wait until he recovers his health and hang out for a bit? He did see the lack of an expansion. He doesn't know if he's built it on the high ground yet, though. Probes command center has just finished.
Jump up.
No, he does get up here, and he's going to actually throw a bomb out. Does a little bit of damage to the Marine. And now he's going to go for the scout. Does get into the middle of the worker line. Damages a few workers. Not going to kill anything, but he does see the starport. He does see how they've deviated from each other. He sees the medevac coming out, and he's now aware of the possibility of a drop attempt. And the fact, of course, that the Marines would just... You can't really chip damage them and come back in over and over again or anything at this point. Kind of keeps the Reaper from coming back.
Probe moving an orbital back home. Gonna take this, land it over, and expand. Pretty good. Mostly
excellent positioning. Excellent positioning of this bunker here at the top part of Probe's base. It's going to help him defend when this drop does in fact decide to get down here. It also has the Reaper in a really good spot to help spot it in case it goes for the higher hook drop angle, but instead he's just going to go for the direct angle. So he sees him coming up here with the Reaper, and the Marines are more than good enough position to intercept that. He does have a couple here, but Montasaurus picks up on it as well, and he's just going to fly around the left side, checks to see if there's an expansion. Still none here. Still looking for that entrance angle, but Probe is still maneuvering against him. Now there's a mine. Ew. Interesting.
What a mine, not good for drops, especially drops that are full of Marines here. But Montasaurus taking the distraction attempt as a chance to expand here, more for an orbital. These.
Interestingly enough, it seems that he's actually just going to keep this this medevac back here for the time being. It is having a psychological effect on Probe, where it's causing him to move all of his units to kind of defend against it. And as a result, he's expanding himself back home without having to invest anywhere near as much in defenses. No bunkers or anything along those lines. He's just getting more and more units out, kind of setting up his defenses. This drop should eventually have the ability to just casually float over here and do a lot of damage. Not so much in the main, if this Widow Mine remains here, but he does have an opportunity in the natural if the army of Probe does ever back up and leave.
Widow Mine repositioning sneakily.
This is actually a really good maneuver to do. It makes it very hard to click on.
Also building a single Viking. I wonder what this is for.
Yeah, the single Viking. This is that kind of caution against the possibility of Banshees. He knows that his opponent does have a starport. It is something he could switch it up into doing that. It also does give you the ability to zone the medevacs a little bit. And of course, in the immediate present, it does kill the threat at the top left.
Here goes, Vikings going out.
Of course, he should be able to get this away. Just a quick boost on the medevac. It's going to take probably 3-4 shots. There we go. Quick reaction. He's going to be able to get away. He's trying to kite with it, but unfortunately there's Marines there. Watch for it. Gets the entirety of the medevac and all of its army.
Hacker with a 4.
Hack 4. Hack 4? Hacker?
Hacker.
Hacker. It's the all-new product from the French hacking company.
It's cologne. The commercial won't make any sense. Yeah.
It doesn't smell like anything, but it makes everyone around you feel good.
To shout profanity at you as you walk by?
No, it makes them feel happy.
Oh.
But there's no actual smell. It's cheap.
I was afraid of the fact people calling each other hackers, to make them shout angrily at you.
Oh yeah, it changes their chemical response. Makes them happy instead of upset.
Right.
So we do have a Viking kind of coming up here, trying to get some pot shots off on the Vikings and on the medevacs. Doing a decent job of that, but not really able to accomplish too much more. Besides, I do like this maneuver though. He's actually damaging the medevacs and makes it harder for them to really stick around. But there is a lot of Marine presence here, and this. I feel like this is a lot of APM invested into something that isn't really necessarily accomplishing a lot. He's distracted 2 Marines, I guess.
Yep, now it's chill in the back of the base and building for Montasaurus. He's got several tanks. Bio would be not a smart idea to run up the ramp there.
Nope. But Probe's own medevacs are coming out, and I guess that damage, if he never sends a worker over to fix these medevacs, it does mean that he can actually pop those off in a fight really, really quickly. So it does have that benefit. Here comes the first siege tank. Been brought up here by the medevac. It's a very interesting idea, by the way, to just transport the siege tanks across the map really quickly. Unfortunately, siege tanks no longer have the property when dropped from medevacs, unfortunately for our orange player, I mean, where that they can fire instantly when you drop them. Unfortunately, they can fire instantly if they're already on the ground. So that's not a tactic you can use to break up the ramp.
Yep. Of course, using the opportunity to load up another drop, circumvent the army.
Yeah, I like this maneuver. There isn't really much... No, there's no defenses up here. There's still that Widow Mine, but there's nothing covering the top part of Probe's base. So it's still a pretty vulnerable location. That is a little bit of a risk, though. A lot of his bio presence is simply gone here. He does have 2 Vikings now, so he at least has defense against that. But basically all of Probe's army is here right now, and I think a full-on assault up the ramp right now would actually do pretty decently, since a lot of these siege tanks are not sieged up.
Siege those tanks up. There's 4 of them waiting there.
He does scan. Here comes the drop. There is, I believe, a single Marine up here. It's not going to be able to do a whole lot. He does drop right here behind the orange base up at the main. He's going to start doing some damage up here. Probe's response so far is to rally some of his recently produced units up here to defend. He's doing an okay job. Unfortunately, our blue Terran player is starting to move in kind of close to that Widow Mine. He isn't taking the bait, though. Oh, but here comes the shot! Blows up most of the Marines. The key thing there is that he picked up a supply depot, so it does slow down production for Probe's next wave, maybe slightly. But unfortunately, didn't accomplish much else. He's going to siege up inside the range of one of the siege tanks to start doing a number on the offensive siege here. Probe did pick up a gold mining base during all of this, so he does have that advantage over his opponent. Montasaurus does need to get him to leave to be able to make any more progress economically. If this keeps up for too much longer, he will fall behind.
I'm here staring at each other. Not across the map, but across the way.
Okay, bringing the Vikings in to try and push everything back. We do have Liberators now in play, though, and the Liberators are going to make this tricky. He's going to set up the Liberation Zone, and he has a couple of Vikings to cover them at the same time. These things kill stuff fast. He's going to try and send a small number of units over. It really doesn't work. He has a siege tank covering that same zone as well. So he's pretty much cut off half of Probe's maneuvering space, while at the same time moving the rest of his forces up. It's just a very methodical breakout.
Trying to split up, kind of tense here.
He's got an excellent concave against these forces here. There's only one other tank at the back, and these tanks are now going to siege up as well, and there goes the rest of those bio forces. It looks like both sides is pretty much going to be a war of attrition in terms of the bio. Tries to run forward, unfortunately runs into the Liberation Zone, loses the rest of Probe's bio, and that's the end of this skirmish up at the front, except for this medevac who kind of wishes he wasn't rallied over there. Double expansion.
Dropping the gold here.
So Probe does have a significant bank of about 1,000 extra minerals over his opponent that he can use to rebuild here. So we're going to see him kind of surpass his opponent in army supply for a little bit. However, on the other hand, Montasaurus does have the same number of members, so he's going to be able to kind of keep up with him from this point forward. We'll see if the quick burst in army supply is going to be enough for him to build an overwhelming force. He now has a couple Liberators of his own, and more siege tanks, as well as a partially restored bio force that's coming forward to the frontier. Montasaurus is got 5 siege tanks. They are not sieged up, however. Unfortunately, they are under the Liberators. He looks like he's going to be able to clean the Liberators off almost immediately. He's moving the siege tanks back. Now they're going to siege up, and it looks like... Yeah, it looks like Montasaurus is going to be able to hold this area.
Pretty good. Tank's pretty good. Fine, they are unstoppable.
especially to light air units that cluster together. And get real close. I mean, I guess they're not so good against Tempest, but still. It's the thought that counts. Anyway, we have a Ghost Academy popping up from Montasaurus. Like this, get some defensive nukes to zone the army a little bit. Or offensive nukes if he wants to go for that. Looks like he wants to engage against this army immediately. No siege tanks were actually in position here. This is an excellent maneuver from Probe, doing a great amount of work. But unfortunately, the rest of the army of Montasaurus is going to catch up here, and he's going to be able to maintain this location at the very least. But that's good. Does help Probe a little bit for this fight that's coming up here. Unfortunately, he's still behind an army by about 13 supply. So you really can't afford to take too many more trades. Liberator getting a little too excited, moving forward along with 2 Vikings and a bunch of bio. Army supply, however, is still actually not that far apart. So nobody really taking a clear advantage just yet.
Running a piecemeal now. Montasaurus running deathly low on mineral. Gold base. Trying to pump it out to meet the demand. 3-3 coming out.
Okay.
Methodical bunny hopping.
Yeah, pretty much that's all we're going to see for a little bit. I like the use of Vikings, though, to kind of zone like that. Does make it pretty interesting to watch. He's got vision of the back line here. Now he's going to try and go for this Liberator. Liberator does get outranged by the Viking, though, so this is a fight that the Viking should win without help. Okay. No, I mean, it's not going to make it in there now.
Not with the Marines standing there.
So kind of an interesting position. You'll notice here that Montasaurus, where he's standing here right now, you can kind of draw a line through the middle of the map. He's kind of staking his claim over this kind of space, and behind that he's picking up this expansion on the high ground here. He's actually simultaneously defending this location and attacking. It's very good. He does obviously have a little bit of vulnerability on the left side that Probe might be able to exploit, but not for much longer. He's actually going to run in with the tanks, try and drop them straight on the Marines. Unfortunately, he dropped them kind of in melee range, so they kind of died. Ooh. Did not really work out for our Orange Terran right there. Rip, bad move.
Yeah, says rip. Yep.
Whoops. But he did get a lot of his opponent's tanks, so we're really looking at just a fireball here. Oh no! Losing a full medevac of Marines, basically for free. Exactly not what he needs right now. He's behind by basically 40 supply in army. Similar economies in the back of this. Obviously, Montasaurus having picked up a couple more expansions, though, is going to change that real quick. Gold bases are basically non-existent for our orange player. Trying to set up here. We do have the soft tune of ghosts somewhere here. Yeah, there are a couple of them in the army. Did he go for nukes? I don't think he built them. Right? No. So he just has these things in play for kind of a separate damage option, I guess. He does a nice flanking maneuver here. The ghost coming up as well, bringing the Liberators in. Now he does pick off the medevacs, and he's cleaning up the bio on this left side. On the right, we have a single siege tank and basically nothing else. Yeah, Probe's been just reduced down to his producing defensive units, and it looks like our blue Terran player is more or less securing this one.
Like it moving in, methodically taking out these bases, and yeah, there's not a whole lot Probe can do here on the high ground. Clearly outnumbered in tanks. Liberator coming up, dropping a couple missiles, but lots of bio.
Okay. He does have a planetary fortress that's about to come up here. I don't think the DPS is going to get enough. Nope, I didn't even finish.
Yep, that was GG.
I love the capitalized GG thing. That sometimes happens because occasionally your fingers go crazy when you're trying to hit shift and you hit the caps lock button without realizing it. So you come off as a little bit more manic than you would normally.
Right. I'm going to take a quick break for the next game. I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. Whew.